Thanks for staying with us. So, today's show, there was a story that caught our attention about a Nigerian man who was lamenting about his wife. Now, what happened was that he came to Nigeria to marry a woman, took her to the U.S., helped her become a nurse. You know, when people travel abroad, the first thing, sent her to school to become a nurse, which is study. And suddenly, after she became a nurse and became successful, according to him, she changed. And now he's asking for divorce because he's saying that she has become somebody else. Now she doesn't treat him the way she used to in the past. So the question is, why do some women change after they relocate, after they live abroad with their spouses? And the Nigerian culture, the Nigerian behavior of being this submissive wife kind of changes when they go abroad. Now, there are two things here. Some people say it's the men that cannot adjust to the society they're in. Others are saying there are some women that truly have scoing, and they now totally change their behavior. So today, we have addressed men who treat their wives badly. We have addressed it on several occasions. Today, our conversation to the women. We're talking to ourselves. Ambarawa, you know, practically saying that, why do we change? And what is it? What are the factors that cause us to change when we go to another man's country? Understanding that our cultures are different and the way we do things are different. Why do we change? That's the question. You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag you're with TVC so we can read your tweet. Our Nigerians that watch us from the US, UK, all over the world would like to hear your thoughts on this. You can call us because we'd like to hear your experience and see, for those of you who still have the Nigerian cultural way of life, how do you think your colleagues over there, what makes them change and why? Or do you think they really change? Or is it the men that, we know men for men change. I don't want to focus on the men today. We're not doing any man bashing today. We're talking to ourselves. Those of us that misbehave.
I don't think we do man bashing. I don't do man bashing.
Okay, we don't do man bashing. But you know, we always, they accuse us wrongly that we do man bashing. Yes. So today we are saying that today we're talking to women. Well, Nima, I want to start?
Okay. So when you make marriage a means to an end, this is what you get. And it's not peculiar to our sisters in the US or in the abroad. It happens here, where young girls date a man of a certain level, and suddenly, you know, they are go-getters, they're ambitious, they want to go everywhere, and the man is so supportive. Women today who would do anything to have a supportive man behind them will now be wondering why this young girl used that man as a means to achieve that level of dream and say, okay, no, the class of husband I actually wanted to marry is not your class. It's about 2 steps higher than you, and now you're embarrassing me. You were never in love with him. You were just a go-getter. I saw a case recently of a young girl married to a man who had a 20-year abusive marriage. And now he's transferring the aggression on the poor young girl. She's worse than a maid because he's just looking at her. He's not caring for her. He believes that she can have his child and run away, and then he'll be in court for years, and then, you know, all the issues, and he's just maltreating this poor young girl. We're saying, who will talk to him? Because of women like this, we destroy the image of women everywhere we go. In this case now, this woman went abroad with this man. He married her and took her there. He educated her, and she started working, and he would stay home with the children because he had a taxi job he was doing, so he had more flexible time so that she could achieve her dreams. But as soon as the dreams don't achieve, there's now discordant tone. I think those women now owe it to themselves to put in the effort, because I always believe that marriage is an effort, and it takes whichever side. And at any time in a tumultuous marriage, you can ride on anybody's side. So if the love and the advantage is on your side, the other party should be able to ride on that side till the marriage you grow successfully together. Don't let it break down totally.
So let me come to somebody else. What do you think is a factor? What is it that once you get the perception, and once you get abroad, it's like you just totally change, you become somebody else? Do you agree with that?
No, I think that exposure
people experience life from a different prism, and then they realize that they have rights, they have opportunities, they shouldn't be treated the way they're treated, and they see the way other people are treated, and so comparison will start making them discontent with what they have. And so they're aspiring for more. And there are two things that I believe are very, very, very important when it comes to marriage. It is that you are committed to one another and you must grow together. Of course, there's communication, so it's not to, let me say, three things. Communicating with one another, growing with one another, and being committed to one another. So at the end of the day, as life happens to you, one party is developing. In this particular story, this man held the house, provided a stable base for her to fly. But as she was flying, he wasn't probably developing himself mentally and at that capacity. And it happens a lot on the other side. But now it is a woman that is on the receiving end. So she's grown more intellectually, she's grown financially, she's grown stronger, she's wiser, and she feels you are not at my level anymore. She wants to move on with her life. It is important for women who are high flyers to also ensure that their husbands are growing, because the growth must be simultaneous. Secondly, it's important to communicate at every point in time that, see, as I'm getting my degree, I've gotten my master's. Oga, you only came here with school cert and you're driving. Are you sure you want to drive, or don't you think it's better for you to try and seek other form? We must pull each other up, because you are blessed for your team. So if you have that insight, don't just, or foresight, drag your partner. Ensure that you are encouraging that person to also grow, because most of the time, what causes this issue is because one person has outgrown the other.
But there's also, there's a part of hypocrisy where we act all submissive here in Africa. We act as if, oh, my husband, anything you want to. In our heart of hearts, we want more. And then we have an opportunity to be in a society where we are reminded that we are actually as important as the man that will marry. So would you blame a woman who is finally saying, listen, that morale that you knew that was doing yes man. Listen, me too, we are both of us, we are 50-50 here. Is that so difficult for our spouses to understand when they travel abroad?
You see, I watched a video, this guy, I wish I'd shared the video with you, maybe I did. He said he works in this computer company where the Indian women there earn $180,000 a year. And they are submissive to their husbands. Their husbands pick them from work, drop them at work, and you don't see them. You say both Ghanaian, Nigerian, and East African women, they will be earning $60,000 a year. When the husband says, I don't talk somewhere. They said they will flip that their hair like this. Yeah. I am somebody. Yeah. Only, but you will never find it with Indians, Chinese, other cultures. Why is it that African women are the women who do that?
That's some deep stuff.
It's a big question that even I don't have the answer to, because the Indian women in India, they are submissive. They get to America, they are submissive. The Chinese women, the same thing. But African women here, like you said, we are pretending to be submissive. So, and then you don't mistakenly just carry me to where I will show you that I'll be mad.
In a similar story, myself and somebody was having a conversation just 2 days ago, and we're comparing the Indians abroad and the Nigerians abroad, where a family, somebody was saying that they're afraid that when they take their children abroad, they might change and the society might influence them. And somebody now told me, do you realize even in Indians, when they go there, the society they live in don't influence them. It's a culture that the parents teach from the house that they take out. So you don't see an Indian say, now you're not a gangster, you're not shooting somebody. Yeah, they don't have that fear, because they actually imbibe that culture they have raised their own children with. So in the same vein, is it that we totally, when we travel abroad, we pick the wrong things,
we assimilate,
or we assimilate faster and not retain that culture that people actually admire in us?
So the way I see it, African women are outspoken women. Forget it. Forget all those cultural things. We even though we have a patriarchy, is the matriarchs of the home who establish culture. They are outspoken. They establish themselves. So even the men know it's a struggle to contain our women in Africa here. So it is when we now say to another woman, it's the woman that will say to another woman, you don't talk back. before the woman will listen. If you leave that woman with her husband, she will talk back. She will raise her hand. She will have voice. She will fight for that voice to be heard. And it's the level of struggle that African women go through to try to establish themselves as successful, because the society is pushing you back and you're fighting.
What I think is,
that's what is in our nature, that is in it.
The kind of person I am, you talk to me in a way I don't like, I will return it 10 times.
Now. If you go anywhere, you will.
So I'm not pretending. So you know who I am. Where I have a problem is when you pretend to be
Let me tell you this story.
Let me go on a break. Let me go back. Let me come back with something. Move on. Let's do it right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue of why do women change, especially African women, when they travel abroad, especially when they get married. Takwa, you're going to say something for the break?
So I wanted to try to sort of like answer what YK asked, which is how come it is some of this Nigerians, Ghanaians, that the women, a few African women would just change with exposure. And I think that it might have to do with the fact that our culture, to a large extent, seems to talk down on, suppresses the women. And so when you change cultures and you realize that you have a right, like you can talk, they cannot talk down on you, like a society is encouraging you to be vocal about your emotions, people tend to be. And the more they become more vocal about it, the more the man feels disrespected. So the tussle now begins to be like, you're trying to supersede me, you're trying to override me. And once the family becomes that tense, things will start going downhill from there. So I believe that at the end of the day, women are forced to take responsibility for how the family turns out. It's a huge burden for women to carry, but we've carried it successfully so far. I think that we need to do more as women to hold the family together, because it is a trend now. Once you take a child, especially you're taking the woman from Nigeria to America, they tend to just get exposed and get out of hand.
Let me take this call from Malara.
And it's almost like someone that has not had a war before in their entire life, and the first time they had a war, they just go.
No.
Let me take this call from Omalara. Comes to you. Omalara, are you there from Abuja?
Yes, I'm here.
We are live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mariah.
Good morning.
Okay, I'm first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. The topic, the problem. I think the problem is what the Yoruba call a faraway. When you seem to forget your culture and your training here. You get over there, you want to copy the Western people. Mariah, you said the Indian people don't seem to forget their culture wherever they are. The Chinese women don't seem to forget their culture wherever they are. Is that training, home training? Over here, we want to copy the Western people in everything we are doing. The way we talk, the way we train our children, we seem to forget the culture. So culture is the problem. We try to copy the Western people, and that is how Western people behave. They talk to, they have equal rights. But here, let's try to copy the good part of our culture, which is trying to give honor to our husbands, not to be their slaves, but to respect them. I can't imagine somebody training me, somebody taking me through what I need. And
Thank you.
Get to that place.
Thank you, Malara. Thank you. Let's talk about the fact that a man invests in you. We've not mentioned that part. Yes, you come there, you are emancipated, you have a vocal, but there's a part of an investment where the man has sacrificed everything he has to bring you over and raise you, because, hey, he's probably not, sometimes he's not really, you're not yet, you don't have papers enough for him to have financial aid. So he has to pay through his own work to get you to school. Sometimes they start off really, really hard in the beginning. So do you think that should be enough for women to reconsider their stance and how they treat their men when they travel abroad?
In fact, that's the only basis, because for me, everything in a family is that structure, your role and my role. If the man has seen the future and thinks, if I empower my wife and then she gets to that financial stability, and then later I can, she can take over hold on the house while I go and develop myself. It's a sacrifice. It's like you having 2 children and saying, I don't have this enough resources, so will one person go to school while the other person waits? And that person graduates and says, okay, no, I have finished school, I'm not longer of your level, you can't go to school. It's the same thing. So it is the only reason why, even if it becomes difficult, you put in the effort to make it work until it cannot work again. You must get to that point where it cannot work, not just within a few years. You are now saying, no. You are refusing to talk to, because in this story, when I read it, it was very painful. The man tried to get people from the church, people of respect, to talk to his wife. And every time they talk to the wife, the situation gets worse. Because he's refusing to see it that way.
Let me take this call from Philip, I believe, Keja. Good morning, are you there?
Yeah, Mariah, good morning.
Good morning, you're live.
Yeah, I'm the first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah. What you ladies are talking about really had to do with. Yeah,
We can hear you, Philip. Please go ahead.
Yeah, it has to do with upbringing. Because a lot of women who left Nigeria, sure, to America or UK and has gotten there.
Listen to yourself. Okay, I think you're listening to yourself, but I have to cut that line off. Let's take a few tweets because we would like to hear from our friends from the US. They've not called yet, but I'm sure they're trying. Let's get a few tweets from them. Yes, Tope.
So, Moreni Keboki said, true, some women change, but most women remain loyal and persevere. How many cases of men marrying foreign women to get residency do we have compared to women marrying foreign men? Women bear most of the brunt and are usually the one who and are not usually the ones who betray. Men are rarely victims. That's our opinion. Shirley Babe says, in my opinion, to the rich wife that changed when she traveled out, it's nothing but pride. On the other hand, for an average woman or the poor wife that is opportune, it is Ojo Rolari, as you haven't seen wealth before. And because white countries seem to support women more in marriage.
Bilikis Morenike says, I don't agree that women just change. Some marriages were shaky before leaving for the abroad. Eventually breaks apart when they reach the land where their rights are guaranteed. Truth is, those laws were guaranteed in Nigeria also. They would have done the same thing. The real McCoy says, women change for the same reason men do, inherent. They become discontented, covetous. Hero. For me, men are to blame. How can you leave the women in the country you live and go to Nigeria to marry?
And he says that it also boils down to who you marry, your friend or just a girl that you take, that you didn't take time to know. For me, it's a circle of, if it's that one, it's a circle of distrust. Women, in my own side of town.
Before I take it, let me pause you for a second. Hassan has been holding for a while. Hassan, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is a very serious matter. It has been happening in our society, even in Nigeria here. A lot of men send their would-be wives to school, and when they got empowered, they now betray the men. I'm a living witness to that. A friend of mine sent a girl to university in the Southwest. The guy is from the North. He took care of her parents. When she was posted to Kaduna, he worked for her transfer back to Lagos to a parastatal in Lagos here. Right from where she was posted, that was when the real wahala started with that guy. And today she's married, not to that guy that sponsored her education. And you know the insult upon insult on that of the whole thing. The mother of that girl again now pushed a junior sister of that girl to that guy to train again. You can see the insults women are going through. And it has to do with the upbringing. You see, you and YK, you are coming from different aspects. I don't see you people as pretending people. You understand? This is how you are. Whoever got married to you took you as you people are. But a lot of our women are pretentious. They pretend. And they just pretend to get there, even to get married. That is why I advise people, don't go to church to look for a wife. Don't go to NASFAT to look for a wife. You can meet your wife anywhere. The issue of compatibility matters.
Right.
The issue of upbringing matters. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Hassan.
Thank you.
See, I know a story. I just remember the story right now. Somebody that I know, a friend, I think my brother's friend. He married, obviously, he was marrying somebody for his papers. I think he had heard, was marrying a woman, like an American woman. And that woman showed him pair, just because of just what he wanted. So he just endured, and she did all the things you think of that the man, a Nigerian man, would never accept.
Because
he accepted it. When he got what he wanted, they divorced. By the time he brought the Nigerian wife, it was a whole nother ball game. He now became Lord and Master. The poor girl suffered.
The suffering
He had suffered.
Just like this
The Akata woman. The poor girl suffered. So at some point she had to run away. She didn't care if she didn't have papers or not. She just left. And she left him alone. And she relocated to a different state. She started over. So if somebody will hear that story, they say, he brought her from Nigeria, and then she left him.
They don't know what the experience is.
So there are different factors that will make a woman leave.
There are different factors. You asked about investment. This investment issue is a major one because a lot of men actually invest a lot in raising their women. Largely within our country, Nigerian men marry younger women. Even if the age gap isn't much, the women tend to be younger. And so in most cases, there's this sense of, I want to support my wife, I want to build my wife. Oh, go and do your master's. Oh, okay, do you need, and then they tend to fund this education. So a case of the lack of gratitude, people feel like, it's your responsibility to take care of me now. So like, why should I be, like, is your responsibility to help me?
I have to pause you for a second. I have a call from the UK, it's been holding for a while. Yinka, are you still there?
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. This is a very big topic.
Yeah.
And I want us to please look at it in so many areas.
Okay.
The ones that they've mentioned, including your caller, are you with me? But these are very of the problem that happens. In UK especially, you know, Nigerian girls, especially Nigerians, both sides, men or women, I will not lie here. These are people that believe they are in the Queen's country. So they are free to do whatever they like. And let me tell you, the extended family contributed a lot of error to a relationship in an advanced country. Oh, what is your husband doing there? What is your wife doing there? Oh, you need to do a thing better. And another thing, to our ladies, it is those men in the street that convince them and confuse them. They will be telling them they can bring moon from the sky for them. They will ask them to leave their husband's house. Not education, not supporting. You know, here we work with one another. We have the same responsibility. But let me tell you, home training is the most important factor here. The way you train yourself, like people will say, and these are the things that affected our ladies abroad. If man will go to Nigeria to go and marry and bring the lady down here, and the only thing the lady will pay back is to just be flirting around because this is Queen's country. I can be a single mom. I can be this. And what happens to their children? They will be life fallow in the street, and they will be attacked, and they will be killed. Let me use this opportunity to thank the family of YK. I've been phoning through for 4 months now to thank the family of YK. YK, the Putin family, you made me proud. When they showed the footage of your documentary, I was so proud of Nigerians.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Yinka. Fine, we're all proud of YK too. But concerning this issue,
I wanted to say something. You see, because when we marry, I don't think a woman should feel that a man owes her anything. You owe each other. When we look at it from that level, everything we build, let's build it together. Now, let's assume that I am earning more money than my partner. Because of that, I feel that he should lord it over me, or I should lord it over him. I don't think it's right. The same way, if he's the one making more money than me, I don't think he should lord it over me. We have agreed to come together as a joint like as a team.
As a team.
Yes, I will give you you are the man.
Yeah.
So now what happens is, the men too, they make mistake.
Yeah.
They go and marry, they come and say they are going to come and marry from the base, from the roots, where the women, they know how to treat their husbands. Those ones get there because their own is money, money, money. Crack, 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 crack. They reach where they see all the women they have bought weave on, they are doing like this, before you know it, they are joined gang.
Yeah, simple. Okay, thank you. You brought up an important issue here I think I'd like to bring to Nima also. The fact that when in Nigeria today, a lot of women are earning more than their husbands. Fact. Many women in the corporate world are earning a lot more. But here in Nigeria, there's something called ashiribo. There's a way you as in you don't tell the whole world I am the one earning more than him. You manage it, and both of you find a way to work it out. But if in the same scenario, it was in the US, everybody knows. Oh, you are working for General, maybe GE or Goldman Sachs, and he's just a taxi driver. Everybody knows it's not a big deal. Now, sometimes the man finds it difficult to live in that society where my wife is working in Goldman Sachs and I'm here just driving taxi. Now, why is it difficult for us to have that bola shiri as we do in Nigeria?
Because if my husband is a taxi driver in America and I'm working for Goldman Sachs or whoever I'm working for, it is my duty to make my husband feel you are my man.
Yeah,
Regardless.
excited about my success and not intimidated by the success.
And it's not to go and boast outside. Oh, my husband, oh no. Because we now develop accents to make matters worse.
Doesn't even matter.
We develop, it's true
The
now.
example Morel just gave now is not even the woman who is putting it in the man's face. It's the people around.
Yes.
They are reminding you.
Society reminds you.
So you as a woman,
Yes.
knowing that, just as you said that, you know, the society is reminding him. Everybody is going and say, how that your madam, how that your rich madam? When they work
No,
for
but
you,
whose
even
business
here
is
they
it
do
that is working in Goldman? You are working in Goldman Sachs, or you are working in one energy company. Whose business? How did they find out?
That's the problem.
Is it not from your mouth?
No. Unfortunately, abroad, I think it's very
pretty open.
It's pretty open.
How is it open?
Where you go?
How is it open? That
Let me tell you
I
something.
put my company where I'm working on my chest.
Peter, let me take Peter from the UK. Peter, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yes, they're talking about how women, Nigerian women, betray their husbands in abroad, US and the UK. Well, the problem is normally, yes, I am calling from the UK, and what I'm saying is most of these ladies.
Please speak to me directly
When you get
on the phone, please. Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, I'm all right. How are you?
We can hear you very clearly. Please continue talking. We heard you the first time. Go ahead.
Don't listen to the TV.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, this is an issue, it's a two-way issue. At times, people get married for different reasons. When you,
I have to disconnect that call.
Please, I want to say something. Because I realize that another thing that causes this issue is the reason for the marriage. So are we marrying for love, or we're marrying because it's time, or you're marrying somebody you have a connection with that is your friend? Are we in the marriage and we are managing each other, or you're building? Some people they're not heard about it when they got married, but as they got into the marriage, they started building and growing and connecting. So you know that you cannot divulge your success from your partner's contribution. But if the foundation of the marriage was wrong, if it was a case of, you don't reach time, hey, this man came from America, I must marry him. You know that some women, the only reason they married is because the person came from the abroad, or because he can afford to take care of them financially. So the foundation of that marriage itself was warped. So everything they build on it will go bad. And such cases, some of these men that are married from the abroad also did not spend time to even know the person they are getting married to. It's a case of somebody recommended her, she's a very good woman. Then you come home, you introduce, you spoil her with money, you take her abroad, she realizes that you're spending your money, but you're a security man. Okay, it's okay. You manage each other, then the girl becomes a girl. The girl looks at you that you're a security man, and now I am now working with one blue chip company. This can't work anymore because the foundation of it was already
We're going to wrap up on this very quickly because I know that I would like to take a few things. Let's go on a quick break. We'll come back after the break and continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to wrap up on this very quickly, but I'm going to take a final comment on you and take some few calls before we run off. Yes, Nima, you're going to say something?
Unlike what Papa said, most marriages are not based on love. Some women are ambitious women. Everybody is means to an end. Every relationship goes to an end. I'm with you for a reason, go. And that's how they use and focus on the men that they marry. So when they get there, there's no kind of preaching you give. It is that once they have achieved that means and you are no longer useful,
relevant in their lives,
they move on. So you be careful when you are selecting beans. Select the beans that will work for you.
Think about it, Nima. Many of our parents that endured in Africa. Imagine if our parents actually were living abroad. Would they stay?
They will. Because maybe they for them was a stable home.
They would stay.
We are not a generation like our parents. Our parents did everything to have stable homes for their children to grow up in. Some women took beating. Stable home, not the goal. The goal for them is stable home. But women grew up and this circle of distrust has started. Some women now have loving husbands that they can actually build a home with, but they are not looking at it because maybe their father betrayed their mother or they come from polygamous background. They give different reasons.
Okay,
they will not allow that chance to
yes, YK. Let me take Oyi. Yeah, go ahead, YK.
The issues of betraying their spouse in abroad is so common, especially with Nigeria. It happened to my uncle Andrew in Streatham at Dafunema. For generations past, African women have always been outspoken. Very true. Billy Kiss says, Auntie Yenny, there is a difference between submission and subjugation, ma. Those women who also might have men who aren't so egoistic like our men. An average African man thrives on being in charge and control of finance. They can't manage a woman's financial independence. Africans are outspoken.
Let me take this call from Germany. Onyi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I greet you all. Thank you all for the good job you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, what you guys are discussing this morning is there are so many layers to it. Okay, when I'll say we, because I've done this before. You know, when we come home to marry our women there or any girl there and bring them over here, there are things that are involved. Like for me, I've been married to a white lady for maybe 16 years. I came to Germany when I was 20, have 2 kids. We finished, I thought, okay, I'll go to Nigeria, get a woman there, you know, who has my culture and all that. But also, when we come here, we've lived with these white people, we've had a different kind of mentality, okay? So when you bring a woman here, you should also know that this woman is also going to be exposed to some certain things. So in my own opinion, what I did with my wife was that as I was going to school, studying and growing, I have to drag her along with me so we can be in the same kind of level, you know, even if away I'm too far. There are a lot of things that cause problems here. Some the white people who can say they are very clean, they know how to keep the homes together. There's just too many things to it that if one is not careful, 90% of the marriages that we have like this is always, at the end, it doesn't work at the end of the day, because many of the women also in Nigeria, or the girls, they might not like the guys, they might like a tall guy, a black guy, a short guy, a guy that is fair, but because he's in there abroad, they just say, okay, I'm going to. So there are so many things. So if it's not real, like what Nima said, if it is not real from the beginning, at the end, it will never work.
All right, thank you very much, because when you just reminded us that there are many layers. You know, a lot of women go through things in our country where when you go to a society where you feel that, I can actually defend myself. I can actually, I can be more accepted for who I am, not because I have to pretend in a certain way. So these things happen, these women go through this conflict in their mind all the time. But I think as we wrap up on this, and I think we still have to bring this up at some point, I'd like us to have just one sentence, few final words to women who are struggling, not because they want to leave their marriage, because I have that belief that there's no woman that wants to break up her own home, that would intentionally want to break up her home. But factors happen that will cause these things. So maybe there's something we can say to our sisters out there in the abroad that are struggling right now, where their women are not up to their level, and they feel that, listen, I can do better and I deserve more than this. What would you advise her to say? Just one sentence and we're done. YK?
I would just say, when you marry, it's for better, for worse. I don't have mouth to talk because me. But what I say is, women look after your men, men look after your women. Let it be a reciprocal thing.
Right.
Let it be, you are joined for, you know, to just make your lives better.
Yeah.
Nobody is better than the other.
Right. Okay.
So for me, I would say that we have a responsibility to grow together. I think that every human being has capacity to grow, and if a woman feels discontent, she should communicate, she should remain committed, and she should encourage her partner to grow. Anything can be resolved if you communicate and you're committed to one another.
Right. Nima?
So if your marriage for you was a means to an end, which is the case in this one, please pity the guy. And even if you must admit that you were being selfish from the get-go, do it, have the dialogue that you open up and say, this was a means to an end for me, and I've achieved it. I'm willing to pay you compensation. I'm sorry about it. Don't make him wonder and think that there's something he
wasted
can do,
his years,
that he can do to make it work, and he's putting in and calling people to come and beg you, and you know you will not stay. You know, we know that there are people like that, but it is important that when you marry, it's about us serving each other. He's helping you, you're helping him. Both of you are committed to growing each other, and that's how marriages work.
So I know that there are many cases where we've had issues with men having low self-esteem, not having confidence in themselves. Today we didn't want to focus on that because we've done that in the past. Today we're focused on those women who, once they get abroad, they automatically just feel like they're better than this and they want to move. And our advice to you today is that, as busy, let me speak for busy today, whatever decision you make, own it. You've said you don't want to do anymore, fine, don't want to move on. But just like Nima said, the man
don't be ungrateful
about the sacrifices he has made for you. That, I think, is critical. He has invested. The least you can do is compensate him and be remorseful about what you're doing. Don't just do it brazenly, like, you know, I don't care, you've done it again, so what? That now looks as if he has wasted it, and that some men can go into depression, you know? So please, let us do it. Own your own mistakes, own your issues, but at the same time, understand and be compassionate about your decisions.
That was one I watched. Sorry, I know we have to move on. Where the man killed the wife and then killed himself.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want that kind of situation.
Exactly.